Well, good morning, still morning. Good morning. For those of us who are here joining in person and those of us who are watching us live stream, welcome. This is our last board meeting of the calendar year. So we appreciate you take time out of your busy holiday shopping schedule and join us today. Secretary Schuman, do we have a quorum today?
We do, Chair Chinzang.
Thank you. Is the live streaming working properly?
I did get confirmation. It is.
Thank you. And at this time, I would like to call on the board for a motion to accept today's agenda.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. And are there any comments from our trustees regarding our last meeting's minutes?
None?
Hearing none?
I'm sorry, just
Okay.
one quick correction. I was absent last meeting, and there's a word participated in front of me being absent, so I think we just need to strike participated.
Okay,
Yep.
noted.
Thank
We will
you.
make the change. Are there any other comments? Hearing none, I would like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes with that one correction for our November 3rd meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Are in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So our role as the Board of Trustees is to provide fiduciary leadership to lead our university, advance our university for years to come. And of course, this is a hefty responsibility, and we take it with great pride and honor. So 2 members of our Board of Trustees who has graciously shouldered this responsibility for many years is about to conclude their tenure on this board. Trustee William Johnston for a whoopee 16 years. And Trustee Jeff Reinveld for 8 years, which seems shorter compared with 16. But just because they are stepping away from the Board of Trustees doesn't mean that they're off the hook. Because once a Bronco, always a Bronco. So we are considering how committed and they are to this institute. We expect to see them get involved, continue getting involved in our university and in our community, because this is their community. But thank you so much for your years of services. So we have had a great semester this semester. Several things we're celebrating. One is we had a big increase in our first year freshman enrollment, actually a big jump for quite some time. And the second most recent, that we have successfully concluded the search, which demonstrates the stellar leadership talent that's being attracted to this remarkable institute. And this is just among the quite a long list of accomplishments this semester. So thank you so much, President, for your leadership. And so speaking of the community and also celebration, we are about to celebrate 1,200 students walk across the stage and accept their diploma this Saturday. So, always very excitement time, and I look forward to witnessing and celebrating with the families and the students, and to see them to starting a new chapter of their lives. Of course, we don't have to wait until Saturday to celebrate. We can start it today, because right after this board meeting at 1 o'clock, upstairs we have the holiday celebration that's hosted by Dr. and Mrs. Montgomery and the Board of Trustees. So please welcome to join us. I heard we have the hot chocolate that's coming back. Yeah, we told Mrs. Montgomery that is a must on the menu, the hot chocolate. So, so the WMU faculty, staff, and administrators worked very hard through the year to help our students. So I always encourage you to take the recess time not as a chance to finish up the house projects that you're not that much looking forward to, but take it as opportunity to relax and recharge and to take care of yourself. So happy holidays to you. So now on today's agenda, we will weigh several items during today's meeting. We will first consider a slight name change for the stadium clubhouse at the Waldo Stadium, and the recommendation will be presented by Assistant VP of Engagement, Renee Pearl. And next, we will consider the recommendation to approve an honorary degree for a veteran U.S. representative who has served Southwest Michigan and been a friend to WMU for more than 3 decades, Congressman Fred Upton. President Montgomery will be introduced this recommendation. And in addition to these items, we will also have 2 consent items to address. We have a personnel report and a proposed seeking flexibility in the use of an endowment fund to compensate graduate assistants in Bronco athletes. So at this time, I would like to ask President Montgomery to give your remarks. The podium's yours.
Thank you, Chair Tenzang. Again, extend holiday greetings to everybody on this occasion, and wanted to just use a little bit of time to do a year in review. You had mentioned a couple of high points for the campus, including the appointment of a recent provost. I really want to thank Sarah Summy, Brian Gogan, who led that search effort, as well as the other committee members. They did an excellent job working and getting to bring us excellent candidates. So I want to make sure we acknowledge and thank them for their efforts on that regard. So thank you, Sarah. And then secondly, you'd mentioned the growth in new students. We did have a 24% increase in first-year students compared to last fall. Applications this year continue at that record pace that we'd seen at last year, and so we're encouraged about the prospects for next year's class as well. I think the one thing you want to make sure you take away from this is our success last year was a result of a campus-wide effort. People got engaged and presented what Western has to offer across faculty, staff, all kinds of different units, divisions, in ways that they hadn't been engaged before. Western Weekend, a collaboration with GSA and WSA was important, and again, in creating and telling the story of Western. The remarkable fact is if we can get somebody to visit, 85% of those people enroll. That's a testament to the people that we have on this campus and the story of how we actually actively engage in helping students fulfill all of their ambitions and the educational experience. So I really think we need to thank the whole campus community for coming together and helping us with that important step in terms of recruiting. Another highlight is the Empowering Futures gift. Obviously, it played a role in some of the good news that we were able to celebrate. And this year, as that gift gets rolled out more and implemented more, we'll see its impact grow and now and into the future. We were able this year to announce the first set of Bronco Promise scholarships, and we put together some student-centered supports programs. We really are blessed to have this incredibly important gift to help us create pipelines to success, pathways to graduation, increase retention, and improve student resilience. Just last week, a group of 50 or 60 campus-wide staff and faculty got together to talk about how they coordinate the very different pieces to build into this a ethos of evaluation, so that we look at what works and what doesn't work, and then we improve the things that aren't working as well as we want, and that it's a coordinated effort, and that it really is knitting together a holistic safety net or a net to promote student success, and that's really our focus. And so so, again, I want to applaud all those people on the various steering committees and implementation committees for taking that hard-earned work to the next level of actually doing it rather than just talking about it. And so that's a real testament. As I said, we gave out 399 Bronco Promise scholarships. We gave out 50 housing scholarships. Those housing scholarships were connected to a creation of a new Bronco Connect Living Learning community. Why did we do those steps? We wanted to make sure people could take advantage of coming to Western, but it's more than just coming to Western. We need people to succeed at Western. And housing plays a critical role, and living learning communities have proven track record, again, proven evidence-based track record of accelerating that impact. And so all of those things are tied and knitted together. In addition, there are a variety of retention efforts put forth by our Navigator program, making sure that student success, again, it's not just getting here, it's making sure you eventually walk across the stage like those 1,200 students will be doing in a couple of days. So student success and having that positive impact on fall to spring retention, making sure you get the most out of that college experience. You learn what your personal passion is, you earn your personal mission, and you get a job where you can able to live that. And so the paid internship program, which will be standing up this year, will go into effect, and we've already taken big strides to making sure we have more companies connected, not just in giving opportunities, but mentorship and real experiential learning. So we're really pleased about those efforts, and I want to commend that incredible group of staff and faculty who have been working on that program. Employee engagement. This semester, we took strides on our employee engagement initiatives. We had in October, November, 3 different workshops with probably 200 people came. They offered ideas about what we could do to enhance our workplace culture in areas of appreciation, communication, transparency, value, and support. All of these recommendations have been collated and made available and posted online. The next step was to translate ideas into what would you actually do, how might you actually address those things into initiatives, and we've shared some of that feedback with the cabinet, who are trying to turn those into potential initiatives. That thinking will then be shared back with the campus, get the people's reaction, and then we'll be moving forward on actual implementation. So it's a continual process. It's got widespread engagement. I want to thank everybody for continuing to share and be part of that effort. I'd already mentioned successful search for our new provost, Julian Vasquez-Helig. He comes to us from the University of Kentucky, where he was the dean of the College of Education. We also have a new dean of the College of Aviation, Dr. Ray Thompson, who had been the interim dean, comes and joins us as the new dean, and want to thank Ray for all of the expertise he's brought to the College of Education. And then last and not leastly, you may have seen last week, Athletic Director Dan Bartholomew introduced Lance Taylor, our new head football coach, and Lance comes to us from University of Louisville, so where he has had a successful career. So again, lots of good success in terms of the personnel front. As a university, as a research university, we realize that the research that we do, that creative scholarship, that inquiry is part of the public good. And it multiplies our value to our community, it multiplies our value to our students. And so I just wanted to acknowledge and give examples of the incredible ways our faculty are engaged in that applied research activity that advances our society. And that are Dr. Selena Petraccio and Virginia David, 2 faculty members who got awarded a $3 million federal grant to increase the number of people who had to teach English as a second language, a critical need in filling a workforce. This is not their first grant. They have been recognized for this effort before by the U.S. Department of Education. And in fact, they've gotten nearly $6 million in grants, in 2 rounds of grants. Again, filling a critical workforce need, connecting Western to actually solving problems that our community and our country face. So I want to thank them for that. And later on today in our agenda, we'll talk about some of the efforts that our researchers and students are doing, in particular Dr. Ashlyn Kirsten, and her cold case program. It's gotten lots of great publicity. I think she probably can't go anywhere now without being recognized from the national publicity. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. But again, it's illustrative of the great work that we are doing with the faculty and staff, and how students are impacting not only the scholarships, expanding their minds, but having a real effect on the ground for our community. So I want to thank them for that. We also, our research efforts and other efforts were recognized by the U.S. Green Building Council of West Michigan. They gave us the 2022 Leadership Award for our dual port charging stations. If you recall, we have more of these electric vehicle charging stations than I think any university in the state. And so hats off to that team. Devin Miller, who was one of the key people in getting those stations put up, who's also a building commissioning specialist in facilities, was honored as the Council's Volunteer of the Year Award. So again, hats off to him in particular, and that global effort, again, where we're taking our commitment to sustainability in this particular case, applying it boots on the ground, and getting recognized for its impact. So congratulations to all those people. And finally, semester coming to close. Commencement is Saturday. 1,234 students going to be walking across the stage. I've also said this is the great time of the year where you actually get to see why we do what we do. And graduation is the time students get to celebrate their accomplishment, their families get to celebrate the impact that accomplishment has on them. So I hope people will come out. We do a great job celebrating our students. Our graduations are unique, and that reflects the special way that Western embraces its students. So look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday. With that, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, President Montgomery, and I can echo that. The graduation, we do great graduations. I've attended many of them, and every time, my favorite part of it, besides your speech, is when you see by the end that the parents shoot these videos, and to say congratulations, that always, without failure, just bring tears to your eyes. So, it make you feel great about we do what we do. This is why we do what we do. So I always enjoy those moments. So if you don't have anything better planned this Saturday, come join us for the party. Now I want to welcome to the podium the representatives from our shared governance partners. Those individuals represents the organization work with us to advance our university forward. First of all, our Faculty Senate President, Dr. Sarah Sen.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Chen Zhang, members of the board, President Montgomery, colleagues, and guests. On behalf of the Western Michigan University Faculty Senate, thank you for this opportunity to address the board and update you on our activities. The Professional Concerns Committee has begun the process of establishing a review cycle for student academic conduct policies and procedures. The committee is surveying department chairs to identify any pertinent practices employed by academic units over and above those established by the Student Code of Conduct and in the undergraduate and graduate academic catalogs. The Intellectual Skills Program Advisory Committee, a subcommittee of the Undergraduate Studies Council, is working with Vice Provost Edward Martini to develop criteria for evaluating math literacy skills and student placement. The Undergraduate Studies Council is collaborating with Interim Curriculum Manager Nick Witchey to fine-tune the process and procedures for the use of Curriculog. This includes development of a user manual for proposed submissions and provides instructions as well as examples of well-written proposals. These proposals will then be published on the Faculty Senate website. At the last meeting of the Campus Planning and Finance Council, they supported the Western Student Association's proposal for a WMU neighborhood association. The Graduate Studies Council is preparing 2 memoranda of action, one focused on a graduate student degree, and then the other establishing a minimum number of credit hours required for doctoral programs. The Faculty Senate has solicited departments to submit their Presidential Scholar by January 26th for our March 17th event. The Presidential Scholar is a recognition bestowed upon outstanding undergraduate senior level students on the basis of academic and artistic excellence in their major program, as well as their overall promise of success. The WMU Essential Studies program held a data spotlight event last Friday. This event was 3.5 hours long and focused on reviewing WMU Essential Studies student learning outcome data at the university, college, and departmental level. This is part of the continuous improvement model. It was well attended. Thank you to Dr. Jonathan Bush, Dr. Randy Ott, Dr. Nick Witchey, Brian Carnell, and the WMU Essential Studies Executive Advisory Committee for their leadership in planning and facilitating this event. The council I would like to highlight today is the Undergraduate Studies Council. Dr. Diana Riggs from the Department of Comparative Religion chairs this council. The council is comprised of 22 members, including faculty, undergraduate students, an academic advising liaison, and administrators and directors. This council has many responsibilities, including reviewing, developing, and recommending policy regarding undergraduate education. The council reviews and makes recommendations for new department programs, new interdisciplinary undergraduate programs, apparent duplication between existing programs, need for additional or specialized instruction, and assurances of learning procedures for new and existing undergraduate programs. Additionally, the council has 3 subcommittees: Intellectual Skills Program Advisory Committee, Transfer of Credit Committee, and the Service Learning Course Approval Committee. As described, one of our busiest councils. Within the last 2 weeks, I fielded multiple calls and questions from faculty expressing concerns on the innovation of an open artificial intelligence tool called ChatGPT. It has also been prominent in the news and on social media. The tool promises to modernize how we write. One enters a prompt, and in seconds, it will produce an essay, a poem, or other text. Developers state that the quality of the writing is from fair to pretty good. The question being asked is, how will tools such as this impact higher education pedagogy? Some say it is a writing support similar to a calculator supporting math. McMactery stated in the December 13th Chronicle of Higher Education, quote, "It is critical to begin conversations with students and colleagues about how to shape and harness these AI tools as an aid rather than a substitute for learning," unquote. The innovation is one that multiple faculty senate councils and committees will begin discussing next semester. So, for your entertainment, I prompted ChatGPT to write a poem about the University Board of Trustees. This poem was generated in seconds. You can each determine the quality of the writing. I have done no editing. The university's Board of Trustees, a dedicated and hardworking crew. They oversee the management of all that a school must do. They make sure their funds are allocated and the campus is well maintained. They set policies and strategies to keep the school maintained. They work behind the scenes with little recognition or fame, but their efforts are essential to the university's good name. So let's give them a round of applause for all that they do for us, the University Board of Trustees, a value and trusted plus. Thank you, Chair Chen Zhang, for allowing me to address the board today. I'm available to answer any questions.
Well, all of a sudden, I've become a fan of this AI.
Especially if you have to write something.
Exactly. Especially all those nice words about us.
I know, it's just that issue, plagiarism.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, who knows?
I always said, you know, with the quick advancement of the technology, that's why our life, including your life, is never bored. Oh, every day there's some new challenges.
Sure.
But you know, back in my days, taking the CPA exam, there is no calculator allowed. So yeah, I don't know what is allowed nowadays, but it was no calculator allowed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we appreciate all the work you do. And next to the podium is the Western Student Association President, Mr. Chen Kisa.
Good Good morning, Chair Chen Zhang, members of the board, and everyone in attendance. Time flies, and in a blink of an eye, we are at the end of the year. Time went by so fast that I nearly forgot that I'll be graduating in 2 days. In fact, this Monday, when President Montgomery and his team was having a chat and chill session in the library, I was asked whether I was excited for this Saturday. I paused and asked back, what's happening this Saturday? Everyone looked at me in shock, and they said, it's your graduation. So, yeah. It was really then when I realized how quickly this semester has passed. Nevertheless, I am honored to celebrate along with over 1,200 Broncos that will be graduating this Saturday. This will be one of the most resilient cohort in recent history as we navigated through the worst pandemic in human history. A special shout out to all the international students who struggled so much, particularly throughout this period. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate our men's soccer team for securing the second MAC championship in the program's history and was able to advance to the NCCA Sweet 16. I believe some of you are also watching the World Cup, which the rest of the world called football. Anyone here rooting for Argentina or France? I'm rooting for Argentina, so I'm excited for the finals match this Sunday. Talking about football, which now I'm referring to American football, and which the rest of the world calls rugby, I would also like to welcome our new coach, Lance Taylor. I believe that I'm with many Broncos wishing him success in leading our football team. Speaking of success, I had to applaud some of the remarkable work WSA had done throughout this semester. I will not attempt to lay down each and everything that we have accomplished this year, as I'm very excited for the food stations later. So I'll keep this short and provide some brief updates. This semester, our 16 cabinet level members were able to launch 2-week-long initiatives, namely Mental Health Week and Civic Engagement Week. Both initiatives were effective in raising awareness and increasing engagement with our students. Our advocacy efforts, ranging from off-campus pedestrian safety, accessible busing to financial aid, have been the core of what we do. We were able to pass 8 pieces of legislation, expanded our assembly to 211 unique members, and 9 assembly committees. On top of that, under the leadership of Tyler Smith, the Director of Allocations, WSA was able to allocate a total of $228,000 to 57 registered student organizations this semester. Technology, just give me a second. A semester-over-semester comparison showed that we nearly doubled the amount of funding allocated to students compared to last year. This is a very positive data as students are getting back on campus and are excited to be engaged. In fact, the WSA Allocations Commission is still working tirelessly to ensure the allocations process is effective and accessible to all students, from ensuring funding to sports clubs to disabled students. WSA is continuously working to serve our fellow Broncos. To provide some perspective on the hard work that Tyler and his team has put in, on average, the deliberation process takes about 3 hours long, and sometimes would go up to 5 hours long nonstop. So a huge shout out to the entire team for all the hard work they've put in. All in all, WSA is wrapping up this year by setting up next semester for success. We are excited to serve and advocate for our students, and as always, onwards for the brown and gold. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations on your graduation. And I'll be on the stage and I will notice what kind of shoe you wear. If you ever sit on the stage watching, this is what you pay attention to. And last but not least, Ms. Muhammad Asif for the Graduate Student Association. Thank you.
Hello, Chair Chen Zhang, Board of Trustees, President Montgomery, rest of our Westerns family and friends. I'll try to keep it short as usual. That's how we roll. Our goal this year has been the following: build back our credibility, overall, not just for GSA, but for our community. Hear our students, what they have to say, and work on solutions on how do we work with the administration on implementing these solutions so that everybody can understand what goes around behind the process. We're not blaming each other, we're understanding each other and working together. And I think we've been successful. Somehow this We Stand United has been a common theme that has come within GSA, and wherever we go, that's what we've been giving. And I think it came from President Montgomery's office, because we had a chat, and I don't remember where it was, but it was in the beginning of the semester. He says, you know what, we stand united. And so thank you, President Montgomery. We're stealing that from you. Where have we contributed? There's orientations, mentorships, helping students with housing, building pathways to success for students in graduate school, because it is a difficult time, it is a unique challenge, and especially for PhD students, it requires a lot of focus. We have a short time to do a lot of work, so that's something that we've been focusing on. The evolution of GSA itself. We went from GSAC, which was a committee, to GSA with an e-board. Over the last 10 years, we've been doing events, and now we're developing departments. And Dr. Schumann, thank you again. He has been instrumental in helping us make this department happen. One of the bigger changes we've had is events is no longer events, it's events and programming. So we cover everything, not just fun events, but also academic and research excellence. We figured that that is something important for graduate students. On the second thing, we have Dr. McCorkle. We have to give a shout out to her. Is she here today? Oh, there we go. Thank you, Dr. McCorkle. She's been instrumental in making sure that we have our outreach efforts going in. This is not just for outreach outside of graduate school, but this is within our graduate students, international students, diversity groups. So we have managed to accumulate all of them, try to find out what works, what doesn't, what conversations we need to be had. Some of them are difficult conversations, but we're pushing that forward. And I do have to thank our parliamentarian, who I believe is here, Taha. Yep, thank you. So he has been important in making sure that we have our leadership assessment team sorted. This is to make sure that GSA are not just focusing on programs, but also have an action plan for what we need to be doing within the year. And this is something that we can pass on from time to time. So even as our e-board closes and the next e-board comes in, we have a method now to sustain all the knowledge that we've had to moving this event forward. And of course, Christine DeVries, thank you again if you're here as well. Or Renee, you can pass the message on to her. She's been working with us on establishing an alumni association portion for graduate students. And I believe this is important. We have quite a bit of our grad students who have gone on to do wonderful things. And I think it's important to bring them back either as mentors or as success stories to let our graduate students know what is our potential. And we have a lot of research potential too, and that's something that we aim to highlight in the upcoming year. And we do have our PR efforts. I think Jordan and Jordan, we have PR and government relations, who are working on making sure that our voices are being heard. An important aspect, we stand united. Now, we have had a lot of international events going on recently, and this is, I'm talking about our Persian student group especially. They've suffered at home, and it is important for us to show that we care for them. This is one of the difficult conversations we've had. I've heard this come across as, hey, we refer to ourselves as Persians and not Iranians because we don't know how our community looks at us. And so I'm like, hey, let me investigate. So we go find out, we find that within Western, somehow, regardless of where we are, what we are, how we do, when it comes to each of us being in trouble, everybody stands up and everybody helps. And that's an important thing to notice and celebrate. So even as you go back home today, think about this. Think about how different we are, but how united we are. And keep this message in hand as we move forward to the next year, that we need to stand for each other, with each other. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I applaud for the We Stand United. And also, often when I look at all the biases, the prejudice, and all these discriminations that we have, and it often reflects on myself as the importance of our job as educators. Because I think people can debate with me, they can disagree, but I think a very large degree of the prejudice and discrimination is because of the lack of education. So we as educators, we have tasks to do. The more we do, we would carry big weight in reducing the discrimination. Some people can never be changed. We have to acknowledge that. But a lot of people, through education, we can reduce and eliminate the discrimination that we have in the society. Our next item, I feel like some suspense music should be playing. The solving the unsolvable. I leave this honor to Dr. Montgomery.
I can't top that one, so I'll just. That's it. We need a poem. So it's my pleasure to get to be able to introduce Dr. Ashlyn Kirsten. Dr. Kirsten is a professor of sociology and teaches in our criminal justice program. She serves as the director of the cold case program. She's received grants from the National Science Foundation, the U.S. Department of Justice, and other organizations. And one of those grants allowed her to create what was called the WMU Wrongful Conviction Program. And so she's here today to update us on that program and introduce some of her students as well. So thank you. Kirsten.
Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate this. So I thought I'd start off by mentioning this. I was about the age of my students, and I learned something that totally changed my life. It said the purpose of public universities are twofold. One, we find innovative ways to make the world a better place. And two, we educate students from ordinary backgrounds. And oh, wow, that made such a difference to me. I was growing up in very poor in a cabin in central Alaska. And when I read that, I said, wow, there are people like me, and you can go on and get an education. So check this out. This is an idea that I came up with to try to fulfill these two missions of public universities. We have boxes, laptops, binders, just full of documents and other evidence.
Mackenzie Stoneman's a senior at Western Michigan University, but she's also kind of a detective.
Typically looking for names, addresses, contact information, other evidentiary information that could be case specific.
She's part of the school's cold case program that has a few select students sifting through boxes of evidence, helping state police crack cases that have gone decades without answers.
It wasn't just reading chapters in a book, taking a test, memorizing it, and forgetting everything that we learned. It was working on something that could change the trajectory of the whole case.
You're always looking for that perfect scenario to get students to just dive right in.
Professor Ashlyn Kirsten started the cold case program last year after forming a friendship with state police detective Chuck Christensen.
I started talking to Chuck, and he had all of these cold cases with the Michigan State Police, and I had all these brilliant students who want to learn these research skills and they're interested in
So clearly, there's a need to try to stamp out some of these cold cases. It's estimated there's about 250,000 cold cases in the United States and about 6,000 additional cold cases that get contributed to that number every year. Here's a little bit of what the students do. As you can imagine, I don't have any trouble finding really good students who want to join in on the Western version of a semester-long Law and Order episode. That's kind of like what it is. It's cool stuff that they're doing. The students are from all over the university, clearly my college, criminal justice students and psychology students, but also nursing students are interested, and various other, pre-med. Pre-med is another one. They do really interesting stuff. And of course, on a project like this, it really does take the whole community. There are so many people that have allowed me to manipulate them into helping me. Michael Warleen is my college's marketing manager. The public interest, the news, was just out of control. And there's so much to deal with when you have national media showing up on a college campus, right? It's just amazing what he had to do to get us up and running. I have a colleague over in the Department of Geological and Environmental Sciences, Dr. Minye Dogan. She has a drone with ground-penetrating radar, and she is able to use this equipment to go into a place in southern Michigan and find 2 women's missing bodies that we think are buried on this farm. It's just amazing that she is here at this university. Dr. Brad Dennis from University Libraries, I'll tell you, we contact him on a regular basis, and librarians are magic. It is incredible what they can find. They help us so much. He helps us so much with our research. There's a lecturer, Michelle Hervaniak, from the Institute of Intercultural and Anthropological Studies. She is working on a certificate program in forensic anthropology that will collaborate with several of us here on campus that are kind of doing this kind of work. Don Weber is the college IT director. He's been phenomenal in advising other state police departments how to set up programs like this, because obviously safety is a concern, right? An encrypted system that he developed, and he's just been phenomenal. And then finally, Sean Tinney and Amanda Jeppesen, I need to give a special shout out to them. As I mentioned, there's 2 pillars of the goals of a public institution. And the last one is that we educate students from ordinary means. Now, it'd make our lives a lot easier if all of our students came to us with a trust fund, but they don't. These 2 women have been instrumental in trying to find ways to allow these students from ordinary backgrounds to do this kind of work and give up their jobs in retail or the restaurant industry. So the outcome of this has been phenomenal. The NBC News, 48 Hours was last week. On the Case with Paula Zahn, magazine, it's just been nothing short of amazing. I've been in discussions with Netflix and HBO Max about doing a series. We're starting a 10-part podcast with CrimeCon and the Paula Zahn Show. We're going to start recording that in, I think, like February. And there's even been international media attention because it's such a great story, right? It really is like a true life Scooby-Doo crew. And I'll tell you, nobody is more surprised than I am that the very first case that we got, we helped MSP. So, I mean, really, I could not be more. I really did think this was going to be a gee whiz, I came up with this program, but I never actually considered the fact that we would actually solve something or help solve something. So the interest is not just in the media, but I think that there's some public good that we're going to see out of this in the long term. I'm working statewide to create like a collaborative program, GVSU, Northern Michigan, Saginaw Valley State, MSU, to create similar programs so that we can spread out these cold cases, because we have different districts in Michigan and we all are suffering with these cold cases. Nationwide, I'm working so far with about 36 other states and their state police departments to create similar university programs in cooperation with their state police agencies. And we're trying to create like a network of cold case teams that we all can learn from one another. Obviously, law enforcement is nervous about giving college students access to this sort of data. So what are the things that have worked for all of us? And maybe some of the things, a lot of the things we tried have not worked. So, you know, there's a good part of learning from other people's mistakes. I'll leave you with this. You know, a program like this does not operate out of thin air. And my college dean, Carla Kretsky, and the chair of my department, Dr. Hartman, have financed this entire program by, I don't even know how they've done it, finding resources out of nowhere. This includes everything from computers and a physical space that we keep the evidence and the case files in, social media accounts, labor, media footage. It's just really remarkable what we've been able to do working with very little. I have had some private donors that have contributed. We haven't had a lot of luck with federal agencies. I keep hearing the same thing. This is a great idea. We're going to start up a federal program for grants, but no one's ever done this before. Give us a couple of years. And I don't want to give it a couple of years. I think we should continue doing this now. So without additional funding, the program probably will not continue to see this kind of success. But I'm really glad that I got a chance to talk to you today. And if I could, I would like the current Scooby-Doo crew these are the crew from 2022-23. And they are just doing phenomenal work, learning to be federal law enforcement officers, prosecutors, and statewide law enforcement officials. So if you could give them a round of applause. Thank you very much for having us today. I know, can you believe they all made it here during finals week? I can't believe it.
Well, do we have any questions? This is beyond cool. Because I love like cold cases. I watched every one of those shows. So I'm looking forward to your show on TV. I know Charles always like, why you watch that before you sleep? You're gonna have to. It's just my secret hobby. So if you are receiving applications, I would like to submit my application. So thank you. And Secretary Schuman, are there any public comments regarding action items?
Chair Chen Zhang, there are none.
Thank you. And now we're moving to action items. The first item is, before I do this, I also noticed you guys all wear the proper Western attires in the program. So whoever had that done, a big applause to them. Now we move to the action items. We're gonna hear the first item from Assistant VP for the development, the building name adjustment of the Stadium Club. Renee, please.
Thank you, Chair Chen Zhang. Waldo Stadium has undergone multiple renovations in its storied history. In 1995, the stadium clubhouse was built on the south side of the stadium. Following the conclusion of the 2022 football season, the facility was closed to enable renovation of a portion of the building. The construction is scheduled to be complete in August of '23. When complete, the renovated portion will be available for use 365 days a year. As part of the renovation project, it is requested to adjust the name of the building from Stadium Clubhouse to Stadium Club. Following construction, new exterior signage will be installed with the revised building name. Under WMU's facility and space naming policy, the Board of Trustees has sole authority to name a university building or exterior space. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the adjustment to the name of the building from Stadium Clubhouse to Stadium Club.
I think that should be easy vote. Anybody have questions?
I have to ask, why dropping the house? I mean, what is the,
Think of an invitation.
okay.
And we want it to reflect a little bit more, with it going to 365, we will host more events and activities there, so we want the name to kind of be a little more contemporary.
Perfect, thank you.
Hearing none, can I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll support.
And this is a roll call?
It is. Chair Chen Zhang,
Yes.
Vice Chair Edgerton,
Yes.
Trustee Johnston,
Yes.
Trustee Reinveld,
Yes.
Trustee Trevan,
Yes.
Trustee Turfy.
Yes.
Chair Chen Zhang, motion passes.
Thank you. We have a club.
No house.
No house. No house club. Next, we're going to hear from President Montgomery on the honorary degree recommendation for Fred Upton.
Yes. We have an opportunity today to formally applaud a longtime legislative leader who really has been a champion for Western Michigan for many, many years. As you know, Representative Frederick S. Upton is retiring at the end of this year, and we wanted to show appreciation for his years of service as a congressman serving this district, and wanted to acknowledge him with an honorary degree. Representative Upton has led with common sense values amongst the 6th District in areas of job creation, economic growth, and working to help all constituents of Southwest Michigan. Politics aside, Mr. Upton has been a true friend to WMU during his legislative tenure. I want to affirm his nomination was sent to the Honorary Degree Committee with all the required materials, and it was vetted by the Honorary Degree Service Committee made up of faculty, staff, and student representatives, and that committee supports the recommendation, as do I. So the action item, it is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve awarding Frederick S. Upton the Doctor of Laws, Honoris Causa, LLD, for his achievements as a national leader, a respected public servant, and a longtime advocate for Western Michigan University.
Thank you, President Montgomery. Any questions from our trustees? Hearing none, can I have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Secretary Schuman, can we do the roll call, please?
Yes. Chair Chen Zhang,
Yes.
Vice Chair Edgerton,
Yes.
Trustee Johnston,
Yes.
Trustee Reinveld,
Yes.
Trustee Trevan,
Yes.
Trustee Turfy.
Yes.
Chair Chen Zhang, motion passes.
Thank you. I would echo what President Montgomery said. Aside from the politics, that most importantly to us, Fred has always been a good friend to Western Michigan University. So well deserved. So we have 2 consent items. Are there any trustee want to remove any consent items for future consideration?
No.
Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the consent items?
So moved.
Support.
Can we do a roll call, please?
Chair Chen Zhang,
Yes.
Vice Chair Edgerton,
Yes.
Trustee Johnston,
Yes.
Trustee Reinveld,
Yes.
Trustee Trevan,
Yes.
Trustee Turfy.
Yes.
Chair Chen Zhang, consent items pass.
Thank you. And Secretary Schuman, are there any general public comments today?
There are none.
Thank you. Can I have any other questions? Can we just go to party? Do it. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Support for party.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, we see you upstairs for hot chocolate.
Really?